Right now, as you're listening to this, there's a weight pressing down on your shoulders that doesn't belong to you. It's not the weight of what happened yesterday. You've already lived through that. And it's not the weight of what's happening right now in this present moment, because if you really examine this exact second, you're probably okay. No, the weight crushing you is the weight of tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. You're carrying burdens that haven't even arrived yet, problems that don't exist, and conversations that haven't happened. And God is watching you struggle under the weight of a future that He's already holding in His hands. Let me tell you something that might change your entire perspective. Worrying about tomorrow is essentially telling God that you don't trust Him with what He can already see. It's like a child in the backseat of a car panicking about the route, the traffic, the destination, while a loving father sits at the wheel, completely capable, already knowing the way. The child's anxiety doesn't make the father drive better. It doesn't change the route. It doesn't make them arrive any faster. It just robs the child of the joy of the journey. This is what we do every single day. We project ourselves into futures that haven't been written yet, and we suffer through disasters that never come to pass. We rehearse conversations that will never happen. We prepare defenses for accusations that will never be made. We mourn losses that haven't occurred. We stress over bills that aren't due yet with money we haven't even earned. And in doing all of this, we completely miss the grace that God has given us for today. Here's what most people don't realize. God doesn't give you grace for tomorrow today. His grace is perfectly calibrated for the present moment. It's like manna in the wilderness. Remember how God fed the Israelites? They couldn't store it up. They couldn't hoard it. Each day had its own provision. When they tried to keep extra for the next day, it rotted. God was teaching them something profound. Trust me one day at a time. Matthew 6 verse 34 reminds us, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Jesus didn't say this to minimize our concerns. He said this because He knows something we constantly forget. We are not built to carry tomorrow's weight with today's strength. Your emotional capacity, your mental resilience, your physical energy, all of it is designed for today. When you try to live in the future, you're operating outside of God's design for you. You're trying to spend currency that hasn't been deposited into your account yet. Think about the anatomy of anxiety. Most of what you worry about begins with, what if? What if I lose my job? What if they don't forgive me? What if my health fails? What if my children make wrong choices? What if the money runs out? What if I end up alone? Every one of these questions is an attempt to live in a moment that doesn't exist yet. And here's the remarkable thing. Studies show that approximately 85% of what we worry about never actually happens. And for the 15% that does happen, people report that they handled it better than they thought they would, because when the moment actually arrived, so did the grace to face it. But you can't access that future grace from your present position. You're not supposed to. God hasn't equipped you for next month's crisis because you're not in next month, you're in today. And today, right now, you have exactly what you need. I know someone right now is thinking, but you don't understand. I have real things coming, a court date, a medical procedure, a difficult conversation, a financial deadline. I hear you. Those things are real. But here's the question. Is that day here yet? Are you in that courtroom right now? Are you in that doctor's office in this present moment? No. So why are you living there emotionally and mentally? Philippians 4 verses 6 and 7 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Notice what Paul says. Present your requests, not your fears. There's a massive difference between bringing something to God in prayer and rehearsing worst-case scenarios in your mind. One is faith in motion. The other is fear in motion. Prayer says, God, I don't know how this will turn out, but I trust you. Worry says, God, I don't trust that you can handle this, so I'm going to try to figure it out myself by thinking about it constantly. The peace of God comes when we exchange our future fears for present trust. That peace doesn't mean the difficult thing won't come. It means that when it does come, you won't face it alone, and you won't face it without resources. God is already in your tomorrow, preparing a way where you see no way, arranging circumstances you can't yet see, positioning people you haven't yet met. Here's a practical exercise. When you catch yourself spiraling into tomorrow's worries, ask yourself these 3 questions. First, what is actually happening right now in this present moment? Not what might happen, what is happening. Usually, you'll find that right now, in the immediate present, you're okay. Second, what is one thing I can do today about this concern? Not 5 things, not a master plan, just one practical step. Then do it and release the rest. Third, have I given this to God in prayer, or am I just rehearsing it in my mind? If you haven't truly released it to Him, stop and do that now. The enemy loves when you carry tomorrow's burdens today because it makes you ineffective in the present. You can't be fully present with your family because you're worried about future finances. You can't enjoy the blessing in front of you because you're afraid of losing it. You can't rest because you're mentally living in next week's chaos. This is exactly what the enemy wants, a distracted, anxious, overwhelmed believer who is so focused on what might happen that they completely miss what God is doing right now. Psalm 55 verse 22 encourages us, cast your cares on the Lord and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. The word cast there is powerful. It means to throw, to hurl with force. It's not a gentle, well, God, if you have time, maybe you could help with this. It's a deliberate, decisive action. You take that burden that doesn't belong to you, that tomorrow burden, that next week burden, that next year burden, and you forcefully give it to God. You release it. You let it go. Not because the situation isn't real, but because you're not designed to carry it, and He is. Let me tell you what happens when you start living this way. First, you discover energy you didn't know you had, because you're no longer wasting it on scenarios that don't exist. Second, you become more effective in the present, because your attention isn't divided between today and tomorrow. Third, you start to see God's faithfulness more clearly because you're actually present to witness it. Fourth, peace becomes your default setting instead of anxiety. And fifth, you begin to actually enjoy your life instead of just enduring it. Stop carrying tomorrow's burdens today, not because tomorrow doesn't matter, but because God is already there. He's already seen it. He's already made provision. He's already prepared you, even though you don't feel prepared yet. When tomorrow becomes today, the grace for it will be there. The strength for it will arrive. The wisdom for it will come. But you cannot access tomorrow's grace from today's position. Live where your feet are. Be present in this moment. Trust God with what He can already see. And watch how much lighter you feel when you finally put down burdens that were never yours to carry in the first place. Father, I come to you right now with every person listening to this message, and we acknowledge that we've been carrying weight that you never asked us to bear. We've been living in tomorrows that don't exist, suffering through problems that haven't arrived, and exhausting ourselves with worries that you've already handled. Forgive us for treating you like you're not big enough to manage our futures. Forgive us for the sleepless nights, the constant anxiety, the mental spirals, all because we refuse to leave tomorrow in your capable hands. Today, right now, we make a choice to release it all. Every what if, every worst case scenario, every fear about next week, next month, next year, we cast it all on you. Not because we're irresponsible, but because we're finally learning to trust you. We give you our finances, our relationships, our health, our children, our careers, our futures. We acknowledge that you've never failed us before, and you won't start now. Where we've tried to play God by controlling outcomes we cannot control, we step back and let you be God. Fill us now with your peace, that supernatural peace that doesn't make sense given our circumstances, but exists anyway because it comes from you. Help us to be fully present today. Help us to see the blessings right in front of us that we've been too distracted to notice. Give us the grace to take life one day at a time, trusting that when tomorrow comes, you'll meet us there with everything we need. Teach us to distinguish between wise planning and toxic worry, between legitimate concern and faith-stealing anxiety. And when we're tempted to pick those burdens back up again, because we will be tempted, remind us of this moment. Remind us that you're already in our tomorrow, that you see what we cannot see, and that your track record proves you're trustworthy. Thank you for loving us enough to tell us to put it down. Thank you for being strong enough to carry what we cannot. Thank you for the gift of today and for your promise to be with us in all our tomorrows. In Jesus' name, amen.